What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy, Cly, and welcome back to That Thrifting Series. I want to go ahead and apologize in advance because there is a high chance of cat hair floating into scene because my cat's right over there out of shot. He's actually been trained not to walk on this, which is nice, but he's not really taking no for an answer when it comes to pets today. So there's a chance of camera shaking, white fur, and the occasional meow. So in fact, let me just go ahead and, yep, there he is. He is not taking no for an answer. But that's not all you're here for. Actually, let me shift that. There we go. That's not all you're here for today. You're also here about thrifted stuff. And, well, today is all about thrifted tech. Specifically of the video-related variety. Let's start things off easy with the Easycap Dc60. This is a USB 2.0 composite and S-video capture device. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it was $2. And believe it or not, I've got a very weird project going on right now that will make use of similar items. You're probably going to see that next Friday if everything works out, which at this rate it may or may not. I'm kind of on the fence. This is a weird one I've got going, and I'm not really going to give you any hints here, but I've been ranting all about it on my social media. So if you go over to Twitter, which there should be a link up in my top bar there, or actually in the description down below, you can just keep an eye on my mad rantings because, yeah, this one's been making me want to pull out what little hair I have left. Anyway, actually, I went on such a tangent there, I can't remember if I said the price. This was $2. So, it does work. It took me a while to hunt down proper drivers for it because I do think this is a knockoff, actually. But I did find drivers that work, despite a similar one that I have that came with a disc that also didn't work for it, and all kinds of fun things. I found drivers. That's what matters. On to the next item. And this light is now out, sort of. It's blocked by a cat. So the next item I have is this little guy. It's quite similar to the last item, but several steps in the right direction when it comes to progress. It's the Hoppage, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the Hoppage HD PVR 49001LF. Quite the mouthful. This is another video capture device, and actually, it was only $4, which is quite funny because I've seen this exact model at Savers in the case for $40. But no, Goodwill just wanted $4, and it came with the power cord, so yay. But this is another S-video and composite capture device, except it also does component, which is very nice. It does both in and output, so it is a pass-through device. Also does optical audio, which is quite a few steps beyond, and uses a USB-B port, so basically the standard one that you get with printers, or at least you did get with printers. It's been a while since I bought a printer, so I don't know if you still get those. Anyway, it is a much better device. So instead of being limited to 640 by 480, there goes the cat, I actually can go up to 1080i with this. So essentially 1080p at 30 FPS. For $4, I'm not going to complain. And I had to jump out on that last one pretty quickly because the cat decided it was time to use a scratching post, and I consider that one a decent take. So what I have next is yet another similar item. I promise you it's the last one of this variety. It is the Avermedia C874 video capture device. This one sadly did not come with the power cord, but it was only $2.99. It uses the exact same voltage and amperage and connector. Actually, I tested everything out, so don't worry. That the Hoppage does, so I'm good. Again, this is another S-video and composite device, except it does component and HDMI output. So it's a nice little adapter as well. Haven't tried this one out. I have tried the hoppage. Doesn't like my laptop very much due to the lack of RAM. So I get for using a dumpster dive laptop. But I do plan on hooking all of these up to my dumpster PC that I use to capture audio for this video, or my videos in general, just to see what kind of oomph I get out of that one. It's a decent computer, a decent graphics card, so should do the job. One of these devices, don't know which one yet, ooh, you can see my light there, but one of these devices is going to be used for a very weird project that I have on the horizon. Once again, check my Twitter to see what crazy crap I'm talking about. I'm almost there. It's still giving me some slight issues, but I've got what I considered at the beginning the hard stuff finished. And of course, more came to pass, so yay. Enough ranting about things I'm not going to tell you specifically about. On to the next item. So this next item is not a video capture device. Instead, it's a video game console. This is a PlayStation 2 that I got for $5. And if you've seen my dumpster diving special about video games, which I'll go ahead and link in a card, you're going to be wondering why I have this. And to be honest, I've actually turned down PS2s for $5 before, but this came with something special. Not only did I get the console for $5, but I got this. This is the PS2 hard drive and network adapter. Online, I've seen these go in the $20 to $40 range, so not a huge savings, but it was in my hand that day, and it works perfectly. Of course, when it came with the console, it didn't have a hard drive, and it actually uses IDE and Molex in a configuration that is obnoxious, to say the least. It is a wee bit close together there, so you need one that has a specific jumper configuration. Otherwise, you're kind of out of luck unless you modify this, which a lot of people do, so that they can use newer and bigger hard drives. Instead, I lucked out, and one of my dumpster dived computers has a perfect fit drive. I actually have two hard drives from dumpster dived computers that are perfect fits. This is the bigger of the two. It is an 80 gigabyte Samsung drive. The other one is a Seagate 40 gigabyte. And actually, it's a recent acquisition. I've had this one for much longer. But it works. Best part. Using this setup, I've been able to hack the PS2. Admittedly, it's been hacked for a while. I'm using a soft mod where I boot a custom operating system off the memory stick, which was fun to do, but fortunately, GameStop, one of the GameStops in my area at least, still had PlayStation 2 games at the time, and I was able to buy the specific game you need to get to a specific point to, and then use a specific ISO modification for to make the magic happen. It is much easier to do with a hard drive. All I needed was an IDE to USB adapter with a Molex power connector, and everything worked. And if that sounds convoluted, I also could have done it using the hard drive and a much older computer where I could just plug it in. Yeah. Any way you slice it, it sounds convoluted, but trust me, using the hard drive is the easier method. On to the next item, because there's more of these to come. Okay, this one's actually going to be a little bit troublesome, and I'm now kind of worried about the final item. This is an HP Pavilion 23 all-in-one desktop computer. And I got it. Let's just see if I can do this without making the autofocus go a little bit too crazy. There we go. I got it for $13. Now here's the thing. It was only $13 because Goodwill actually thought it was just a monitor that they didn't have a power supply for. I have a power supply for it. The downside is screen is destroyed. It's got slashes through it. Well, okay, smashed breaks, and there's actually no slashes. But it's got issues. However, I did know that going in because while I was in line, somebody in front of me told me, yeah, my buddy checked that out. It has a broken screen. You don't want anything to do with it. I made a big mistake. I told him that I actually know how to fix these things, which is true, but that is not something you want the average Joe at Goodwill to know you know how to do, because either he's going to ask if you can fix his stuff without offering to pay you, no, or he's going to ask you 5,000 questions, and if you say anything involving Molex, SATA, or any of the fun terms that you kind of need to know to fix stuff like this, oh, ribbon cables is another good one that really throws people off, you're just going to get blank stares, which is what I got that day. Admittedly, there was one time something good came out of that, and that was when a mother-daughter duo were looking through power supplies, talking about, yeah, we need to get one for a record player we just bought, and they had zero knowledge of anything involving power. They just knew they had to make it fit. So I'm like, okay, what's the voltage? What's that? What's the amperage? What's an amp? What's the polarity? What? AC or DC? I like that band. It was bad. Fortunately, they had the item with them, and I showed them the symbols, and I said, okay, you're looking for this symbol needs to match that symbol, this number needs to be at least as large as this, if not better. They acted like they were sort of understanding what I was talking about. Oh, and it turns out they needed AC, which I showed them what the AC symbol looked like, and just thinking about it, had I not been there, the item that they just bought would have gone and the magical blue smoke would have come out. Tangent aside, this is dead. This is getting gutted. And I got lucky. This turned out to be one of the better models because there were multiple releases of the Pavilion 23. You can get it in various hard drive sizes, various RAM setups, things of that nature. This was the 1 terabyte, 6 gigabyte model. So because Goodwill thought it was just a monitor, they didn't go through their standard policy in my area of taking out the RAM, taking out the hard drive. So for $13, I ended up with a Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte hard drive. It's in perfect working order. Which also told me, because of course the previous owner didn't wipe this thing, this was at a Holiday Inn or similar. Actually, if I plug this in, I use the hotel chain's name parody on this, and I don't really feel like doing that right now. But I do know this was just set up in their lobby of a hotel as a guest computer. Not even a check-in computer, it's just a let your kids entertain themselves on Minesweeper kind of computer. So that was interesting. There were a few shots of people checking in and whatnot. Also pulled the RAM, like I said, it was 6 gigabytes. Not a huge amount of RAM, I know, but fortunately it was in the configuration of a 2 gigabyte and a 4 gigabyte RAM chip, which allowed me to upgrade my laptop to 6 gigabytes. It's a dumpster laptop, so I'm kind of just throwing in what I get. It's DDR3, good stuff. If I wanted to get the same size RAM chip, same speed and everything from Micro Center, which is nearby, I would be paying $35 to $40 for the RAM stick. I paid $13 for the total. The hard drive would set me back another $50 to $75 for a 1 terabyte hard drive, 7200 RPM. Not going with an SSD, I know, but what can you say? Thrifters can't be choosers. Once again, $13 for that bundle. I'm also going to be pulling the motherboard and a few other components out of here. The rest is going to be going to e-waste. I feel I've got my money's worth out of this and then some. One more item, then I'm done. This one went on a little bit longer than I was hoping, but I enjoyed our chat. Like I said, this next one's a little bit on the large side, so let's bring it in and hope autofocus doesn't have too much of an issue with it. There we go. Like I said, it's a big boy. This is a 26-inch Westinghouse television. It has dual HDMI inputs as well as VGA and composite, and it works beautifully. This was originally $24.99, but it was the color of the week at Salvation Army, which means it was half off. if we had waited until this video goes live, which means you wouldn't even be seeing it right now, we would have gotten it for 75% off, or if we had waited until tomorrow, it would have been a whopping 69 cents. We didn't want to wait that long because there was a high chance it would have disappeared tonight, guaranteed to have disappeared tomorrow, plus this Salvation Army is in a weird spot that we don't go to that frequently. And I think the reason it was still left behind is because it doesn't use a common connector. Oh, it does use a common connector, not a common voltage. It's 19 volts, 3.4 amps. Most thrift stores don't have that sitting in their parts bin, so nobody got a chance to test it. You can't tell if it's broken or not. It works beautifully, and I am most likely going to be using this with my desktop, my main desktop. It'll make a nice partner for the other 26-inch monitor, or is it 24-inch? I can't remember. But I do know my main monitor is a 32-inch dumpster dive monitor. Very nice. But at the same time, I'm kind of leaning towards using it in my game room, which is where I'm doing all of my recording. And I've got a 20-inch dumpster dived TV that I'm using as a monitor for both my Roku, that is dumpster dived, and my computer, which I'm using to capture this audio, also dumpster dived. And I just don't know. What kind of problems do I have? When I said thrifters can't be choosers, I might have fibbed a little bit because I keep finding really good stuff, especially in dumpsters. I really miss dumpster diving, what can I say? So this has multiple homes that it might be going to. Either way, it's going to be well loved, works wonderfully, and I'm fortunate enough to actually have a compatible cable. Anyway, I don't know where all of the energy I had today came from because I really have only had a cup of coffee several hours ago. I don't know, I don't care, I'm liking it. Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you dislike this video or felt I could have done something better, leave a dislike, I don't mind. If you have any suggestions for items that I should keep my eyes open for while thrifting or just want to say hello, leave a comment. I try to get back to everybody. If you want to see more thrifting goodness, be it tech or otherwise, I'll go ahead and link a playlist right about now. If you're new to my channel and want to see more videos like this, or weird tech reviews, food reviews, the occasional DIY project, feel free to subscribe. And of course, until next time, this is your guy Cly, signing off.